Mindanao has experienced cycles of displacement over the past decades as a result of recurring conflict and natural disasters. In central Mindanao, a large scale of displacements took place in 2000 and 2003 as a result of armed conflict between the government and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. Small-scale displacements also continue to occur as a result of clan wars or RIDO. The armed conflict in Mindanao stems from social exclusion and marginalization, economic injustice, and unequal distribution of natural resources, including land. In fact, 6 out of 10 poorest provinces in the country are found in Mindanao. The staged attacks of MILF renegades following the Supreme Court's decision declaring the Memorandum of Agreement on Ancestral Domain in 2008 unconstitutional took a heavy toll on civilian communities in parts of Lanao del Norte and North Cotabato, displacing more than 500,000 people. Estrella Arantilla, along with her child, was among the residents who were held hostage by the MILF renegades during the crossfire in San Roque, Lanao del Norte.
Kutob sa manlugso mabuntag mo pa itong nga bugas tudaan anak nadala dito hasta nanigwid kabayo. Pero kami jud sa kung anak may nahostid og una. Pag-abot dito sa Palaw daghan kami murag 20 city kami kabuo. Karon insa nga aman imong kwarta ko na kwarta na ko dresser gamay ra pero katong halin sa kong uling diri ra ko sulod sa kong putoy katong tag 100. Ang kurog-kurog na ko mawa na pigi kabot ko tangan sa akong kahadlok kay gibati kalibangon nga kaiho na jud kay akong anak to ana dito sa bukid nabot na sa kuan kaning nitudan man tay to.
Homes were burned to the ground. Many properties were damaged, including communal infrastructures and farmlands. Worst, a significant number of innocent lives were lost, including Flora Procares' husband.
Pagbuntag anang sayo na nangabot man gud ang mga armadong tao pero wala man to sila manghilabot namo sa permiro nilang pangagi. Pagkahuman ang katong katapusan nilang mga panon mao ra man toy naghustid sa ato akong bana. Then pagkahuman ako ning indalagan man ko ato siya pagdakop sa akong anak ug sa akong bana. Ako midagan gyugo kay mga armado man sila. Intago ko dito sa kasagbutan then dito ko nagpaatbang ko sa akong balay. Dito sa akong balay galantaw lang ko nga nasunog ang akong balay pero wa ko kabalo nga namatay pud akong bana atong panahon atong orasa sa alas 6.
At the peak of the displacement in September 2008, the then National Disaster Coordinating Council reported an estimated 107,224 families, or 511,000 persons, displaced by the fighting. The DSWD, which heads the government's task force on IDPs in Mindanao, reported a total of 210,000 IDPs inside and outside the evacuation centers in March 2009. But with the continued armed skirmishes in their areas, the IDPs fled from their communities once more in the second quarter of 2009 and returned to the evacuation camps and host communities. To mitigate the effects of internal displacement, the Philippine government, with the help of international community, pursued relief, early recovery, and rehabilitation efforts in Mindanao. Among these projects is the Early Recovery and Rehabilitation for Central Mindanao, or the ERRCM project, the successor phase of the Strengthening Response to Internal Displacement in Mindanao, or STRIDE Mindanao, implemented by the Action for Conflict Transformation, or ACT for Peace program, under the oversight of the Mindanao Development Authority and the ERRCM regional government. Signed on December 2010, ERRCM has an approved budget of 4.4 million euro, or about 286 million pesos, to support the needs and priorities of IDPs in Central Mindanao through direct service provision, capability building, and technical assistance from January 2011 to December 2012. ERRCM shall support recovery and rehabilitation of IDPs in their respective return communities in the 4 provinces of Central Mindanao, which include Maguindanao and Lanao del Sur for ERRMM, and North Cotabato and Lanao del Norte for non-ERRMM. These provinces were severely affected by the conflict, based on reported displacement figures by the then National Disaster Coordinating Council. ERRCM follows the National Implementation Modality Guidelines and is consistent with the Paris Declaration on Aid Effectiveness, which stressed the important role of partner government institutions in the implementation of donor-funded programs. The overall objective of the project is to contribute to the efforts of national and local government in facilitating the return or resettlement and early recovery of people displaced by the armed conflict from August 2008 onwards, and to establish the foundations for sustainable peace and development in affected communities. Specifically, the project shall support the transition from relief to early recovery of at least 75,000 displaced persons through the restoration of community infrastructure and basic services, including shelter, access to water, sanitation and health facilities, nutrition, education, and psychosocial rehabilitation. Contribute to reducing the vulnerability of at least 90,000 displaced persons through livelihood assistance, 40% of which shall be led by women, and strengthen the capacities for local governance on early recovery, response, disaster preparedness, including coordination of early recovery efforts. To date, the project team has completed the identification of 30 early recovery and rehabilitation sites in Central Mindanao. In fact, most of the communities have started constructing the core shelters and other infrastructure projects.
Well, we are very thankful because that is what we are longing for long years ago. Because some of us are farmers. Some of them have no residence. That is why we would like to thanks to everybody.
Laking pasasalamat namin sa ERRCM kasi po binigyan kami ng opportunity na magkaroon kami ng ganitong klase ng proyekto kasi mula nung kinagisnan ko parang wala yatang project na nakatayo dito.
Beyond complete reconstruction and rehabilitation, the project hopes to transform conflict-affected communities in Mindanao into key development areas, a thrust currently being put forward by the Mindanao Peace and Development Framework Plan, or Mindanao 2020. In view of its mandate to implement Mindanao-wide and interregional development initiatives, the Mindanao Development Authority ensures that conflict-sensitive programs and projects are delivered in all former conflict-affected areas. One of the key thrusts of the Mindanao 2020 is to harness active partnerships among donors and governments at various levels through active and principled partnerships. ERRCM then shall build on the capacities of key actors from the local government, civil society, and the communities.